करूँगी, लेकिन बाद में जब मैं करना चाहूँगी, सोच लिया मैं करना चाहूँगी ना, वो मैं अपने एफर्ट करके वो कर लिया।
Hi, my name's Hardish Virk. This is my archive. It's the foundation from where the Stories That Made Us, the South Asian Narrative project, has rose from. And this is a collaborative project with Coventry Art Space. So, if we go through the archive, and here you go.
Projects like this and that phrase, Stories That Made Us, is this idea of being, being made up of little building blocks. And that's what an archive like this has. There's lots of different building blocks that have different bits of resonances, impacts in our life, which makes who we are.
So there's two archives. The first archive is what used to belong to my father, Bhajan Burke. It's currently at Coventry Collections, held at the Herbert Art Gallery and Museum. The second archive is the one that I've been building up over the last 40 years, which consists of my items, but plus the items that belong to my mother, Jasvir Kang, who was an author and radio broadcaster, and Zach Mughal, who passed away just around 10 years ago, and I inherited his archive via my mother. So there's Zach and my mum and my sister. These were like massive club nights that we used to run once a month.
I've never seen like someone in drag in like Asian clothing.
And I suppose I got involved with it, and Artspace got involved with it because it's very exciting. It is a major archive. It sits alongside his father's archive, which is at the Herbert Gallery, the Virk Collection, and I think is probably one of the major collections of South Asian artefacts in the country.
You can be in South Asia without being in South Asia in this room, so I think that's quite a good thing for a creative, because you don't have to get on a plane and walk around the market and pick up the packaging. It's kind of here for you.
So the first phase of Stories That Made Us was funded by the National Heritage Lottery Fund. We participated in South Asian Heritage Month. We had an exhibition. We also commissioned 2 South Asian artists. We had a club night celebrating South Asian music from around the world. We've catalogued over 1,000 artefacts. We are also documenting this project, writing blogs and interviewing South Asians living in Coventry.
My name is Paramjit Semi and I'm the archivist for this project, and we are cataloguing the collection. So the material, when I've come in, it's already been kind of pre-sorted or roughly sorted. So we have like cassettes all in one place, we've got photos in one place. So that would be your initial kind of cataloguing, is appraising what you have. Then we are cataloguing things down to an item level. So putting all the metadata about a single item. So for example, I've done passports first. We would do the title of what a passport is, so who it belonged to, the creator of the passport, the dates that it covers, and we give it an accessions number as well, and then a box reference number. So all of these things would help us to search for that material afterwards. So we can then use it for displays, or if someone wants to use it for research, it's all findable and we know what's in the collection.
And feel free to have a look.
That's it.
Ask me
And
any
who
questions.
is that? Your?
That is my mother. So in India,
that is just fantastic. In Kashmiri outfit, I can see.
well, that's really interesting because I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's really good to hear, Mary, that you recognise the outfit, because I've had other people who've come into this archive and said that is from this particular part of India or this particular part of the world. So it's new to me, so I'm being educated at the same time.
We've come from different lands, we've got distinctive cultures, and it's this diversity that I feel it would be important for the project to stress.
I think it was the Palladium Cinema, so it was shown in the Palladium Cinema in 1978 or something.
My parents were born in India. I've spent some time a lot of time in Africa. So in some ways I can call myself a daughter of Africa. And then my faith is Zoroastrian, and I speak a number of languages, but I feel truly British.
We don't tell our own stories, nobody else will, and if the other people do, then they don't tell them with a real integrity or authenticity because they haven't lived that experience. And sometimes it could be, I suppose, an anglicised or a colonised perspective of storytelling, and I'm trying to sort of challenge and address and defeat that way of how these stories are presented in museums and galleries and that sort of thing.
It's been a hell of a journey for South Asians in the UK. Back from the 50s and my generation that arrived in the 70s, and even now, it's an ever-evolving story. But some of the cultural capital that we carry with us, the old songs, the costume, the jewellery, the food even, the writing, all of that is a lens, isn't it, onto how we navigate the world and how we understand our place. And for artists, to give artists the opportunity to use that microscope to unpick and reveal how those stories and how that experience has impacted our daily lives, and for future generations to show them that it hasn't always been like this. There's more to tell and more to see.
For creative people, whether they're from a South Asian culture or from any culture really, any creative who wants to interpret sort of cultural objects and cultural building blocks will have lots here that they can, either take from visually or take from in a more, sort of subjective manner, or maybe take the aesthetics of these objects, or indeed the stories and the emotional values of. So there are different levels in which a creative can engage with a project like this.
I guess this collection feels like an invitation to share your story, and also an invitation to be part of something, and I don't like the word validated, but kind of validated for being who you are, yeah.
So if we just go in through to the exhibition space, you'll see some of the artists. Well, actually, we've launched the exhibition. The exhibition is officially launched, so now we're just having a party. So what you're going to see is a group of artists and some other people sort of just chilling out, having a drink and just listening to the wonderful music which I need to continue playing.
To make people aware and not slow down racism and trying to stop the stereotypes, and also just to bring people in to see the creativity behind these people, these communities, and what can we do, and not going backwards in time and going forwards.
So the long-term ambition of Stories That Made Us is essentially having a permanent living museum of our stories in Coventry, hopefully embedded in the community, in the South Asian community. We're looking at a building-based museum, and it'll be used for not only for the purposes of walking through different decades and generations of lived experience of being a South Asian within Coventry and the UK, but it will also be a resource for academics, for community engagement, for research and so forth. So the long-term ambition is to have this physical space which tells our stories by us, for us, but also to share our stories with the diversity of all the communities living in Coventry and beyond.
I feel the need to take my shoes off.
You can.
It's just what you do when you go to a house.
Yeah.